And on the downside, it is a lot of the FMCG names which are seeing the sharpest cut. So that's what's happening with the market action. We will come back to this. But first up, let's invite the first corporate on trading hour today. Route Mobile is in focus. The company recently entered into the Saudi Arabian market in an effort to strengthen its presence in the Gulf region. The company also had a good quarter. This is the second quarter with a revenue jump of 95% if you look at it on a year-over-year basis. So to discuss the outlook, we are now joined by RajdipKumar Gupta, who's Managing Director at the company. Mr. Gupta, good morning and thanks a lot for joining us. This is Pavitra. I will come back to your numbers and we'll talk about that in a bit. But first up, on your getting into the Saudi market, take us through the business plan here and what is the kind of potential that you see from this region?
Okay, good morning, Pavitra. I think Saudi, we were just waiting to have this CITC license from last 3 years, and this license gave us access to start serving the enterprise customer base out of Saudi Arabia. Saudi is one of the largest market in Middle East, and we were trying to have this license for last 3 years. And finally, we have the license, which means that we can start serving the local enterprise customer, including the banks and e-commerce companies. And this is, I think we believe that over 1.5 billion transactions we can process through our platform within Saudi domestic traffic. It definitely, I think being a Saudi is one of the largest market in Middle East, we are already well placed in UAE and Kuwait and Qatar. With this, I think we are fully covered in all the GCC region in Middle East now.
Okay, so you said 1.5 billion SMS volumes is what you can expect from this region. How much would this translate into in terms of revenue?
So I think the Saudi is as compared to other market, it is a very decent market in terms of price per transaction. We believe that in next 1 or 2 years, it will add about $10 million revenue to our kitty.
Okay. All right. You also mentioned in your conference call that your strategy is to continue to focus on your key markets, so the Gulf region, India. Are there any other markets that you're looking at as well, or any new regions that you're looking to get into?
Pavitra, I think we are very bullish about our LATAM growth. We are now have our sales offices in Peru, Chile, Colombia, and Mexico. And if you see our last quarter growth, I think there's a lot of contribution also came from Latin America market. And since the digital adoption ratio is increasing day by day in that market, we believe that because of the high population also, we believe that LATAM is going to be the next big market for Route Mobile.
Okay, next big market. Last at the end of the first quarter, you had said that for the full year, that is FY23, you're well on track to get to 40% kind of growth, but you'd strive to do 50% year on year over 22. So is it 40 or 50 with this done? Yeah.
Sam, good morning. I think we have revised our guidance to 60%. In fact, I think at the track which we are growing right now, I think FY22 we might reach over 60% of the growth.
22, 60% growth.
Yeah,
okay.
60%.
Wow. All right. What about margins? Have you put out a guidance there?
So I think we just want to make sure that EBIT margin will be between 12 to 14% ratio. And I think if as a new product line, which is increasing day by day as in our revenue contribution, we believe that in coming years down the line, we can give guidance about 12 to 14% of EBIT margin. We are very bullish about our gross margin also because there is a lot of traction happening on our new channel of communication, especially on WhatsApp and email and voice. And in next few quarters or maybe within years or time, I think we can see gross margin increase as well.
Okay, Mr. Gupta, your revenue guidance, like you said, you have raised it to 60%, but considering that in the first half you did 95, we know that Q3 is usually, a good quarter for you. Isn't this a little bit conservative then?
Pavitra, I think 60% is still a very good number too, and I think I don't want to give any kind of a guidance. Even I believe the 60% in this kind of situation where geopolitical issues are there and there are lots of things happening in the global market. With the 60% guidance, I think we want to stick with the same for this year.
Just a quick bit on the number of clients that you're adding and the pace of, which product categories is the maximum client addition happening? What size are these clients? Just some more color?
So I think we are definitely adding lots of OTT player as a client, the banking customers all across the globe. Like we recently added one large bank in Nigeria as a direct customer of Root Mobile. We are serving lots of bank in India, and we are in a process of integrating few large banks in India still. And probably in the Q4 we can start getting traffic from these banks. So I think if you see vertical wise, I think banking and the OTT players and the e-commerce are the top three vertical for Root Mobile, and we are definitely working on various other verticals where we have a very good interaction right now.
Okay, you'd also mentioned that you are giving some kind of discount to volume-based customers. Is that something which is still going on? This was from your conference call. I'm just trying to get a sense of how much this could really affect the gross margin as well.
So I think the kind of guidance we have given about 22% rate, I think we are maintaining that guidance, and there might be certain the deals which we want to clock. See, end of the day, we need to understand that Root Mobile is a platform company. Like even just onboarding a customer, we don't require lots of capex for that. And I think it is just a simple sales, like effort by our sales people to onboard a customer, and we can onboard customer without putting a single cost to that. So I think if there is a customer where we believe that the potential is very high, even given some kind of discount to onboard that customer, we are happy to do that. But at any point of time, we always have that kind of guidance for ourselves that we need to maintain over 21 to 25%, 22% GP. And I think from last few quarters, if you see, I think we are able to maintain the same gross profit ratio.
Just one last question. Could I ask you an open-ended question? Do you see any sort of structural risks to any of your product categories, any of your segments? I remember a quarter, 2 quarters back, there was this talk of telecom operators kind of doing a lot of the work that they outsource to you in-house. And I think at that point you had said, well, you don't see that as a risk on SMS, etc. I mean, if you want to address that, have you seen any movement there on that issue? Or largely, generally speaking, do you see any risks, on the horizon?
Not at all, Prashant. If you see Root Mobile, we recently launched our beta version of marketing automation product called as Ocean in Latin America. And we are going to launch the same product in the month of February, March next year in India. At the same time, I think we are building new products on digital fraud also. We are looking out to acquire a few companies as well. And I don't see there is, if you see our growth also, like if we are giving a guidance of 60%, like which means that we are able to onboard more customer and we are able to maintain our customer. We don't see any challenge. And if there is any competition coming from operators, I think I didn't see there's any challenge to Root Mobile.
All right, we'll leave it there. Thank you very much. Good speaking with you. Appreciate you joining in with that perspective. And 60% is nothing to scoff at. Super growth and 12 to 14% margins to boot as well. That's the guidance coming in from Root Mobile. Stocks spiked up actually even as we were having that conversation sharply. Almost all of those gains I think coming in once we started speaking with the management of Root Mobile. 13.11, 13.12 is where the stock is at this point in time. All right, we'll slip into a quick break here. We'll come back and we'll discuss what's happening in the commodity space with Manisha Gupta on the other side.